Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are watching. I am the CHALL, and welcome to another DRFC Daily Reports, bringing you all the latest news and stories from Doncaster Rovers Football Club. In today's video, we'll be focusing on Jack Degruchy being loaned out to Matlock Town for the rest of the campaign. We'll discuss more about his long-term future with the club, with his contract out in the summer this year. We're also going to talk about, while we've got no more news this week, about how who we could be looking at in terms of who do I think could be good targets at this early stage. We're not going to go for a massive long list. We're going to save that for the big recruitment video around end of June, start of July time. But the main thing here is just about who at this early stage could be good potential names to go for, either on loan or on permanent. We're only going to have one or two names per position in terms of only a few specific positions. I'm not going to go through every position in this video. But before we get started, make sure you do like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss a YouTube video. We are on the road to 3,000 subscribers and 500,000 views. Let's get there as soon as possible, please. And for now, guys, let's have a look at everything to do with Doncaster Rovers in today's edition. I would say this week, but there has been more than one this week. Today's edition of the DRFC Daily Reports. So let's start off with Jack Degruchy. He has been loaned out to Matlock Town for the rest of this season. So here is the full bits of information that we know from the statement from the club. They've confirmed that Jack Degruchy will join Matlock Town for the rest of this season. He linked up with Northern Premier League side Matlock Town when Rovers teammate Tavonga Kulea is currently also on loan, so he'll be playing with Tavonga. He is eligible to make his debut on Saturday against Marine. Of course, some of you out there may recognise that football club in the UK. Marine, of course, had that famous FA Cup tie not too long ago with Tottenham, I believe it was. Of course, Spurs. He's only played 11 minutes for Doncaster Rovers this season off the bench against Tranmere in League Two. Has made no starts in League Two this season, only 11 minutes off the bench in one game in League Two. Before this, he played in two League Two games last season, but only started one of those games. So I think when he came in, a couple of years ago now, I think the idea behind him was to develop him, see where he goes. Um, it just hasn't ended up working out. And I'm sad. First of all, I'll speak on a personal level about Jack Degruchy. Wonderful guy to speak to, has been a massive supporter of what I do on here on YouTube and social media. He's been a massive supporter of the content I've been doing. Wonderful guy to speak to. Wonderful, respectful young man. He's got a bright future. Don't get me wrong, there is a football player somewhere in each player. It just doesn't work out for some clubs. Look at Adelaide, for example. It's not quite worked out at Lincoln, but it's working out perfectly here at Rovers. So, it's different. I know it's different levels, but for me, I think there's a player for every club. I think Degruchy maybe isn't the player for us in terms of going forward. He won't be for me, I don't think he'll get much first team minutes. So, take the personal stuff out of it, focus on the football side. Would I keep Degruchy at the end of his contract this summer or not? I wouldn't. And the reason why I wouldn't isn't because he's not a good footballer, because there is talent in there. I just think he'll get more regular first team football elsewhere, in my personal opinion. So that's my personal stance. That's my personal stance on his contract situation. Don't get me wrong, it'd be nice if he proved himself, but obviously he's going to go out on loan now for the rest of the season. I've got a feeling if he is going to leave in the summer permanently, he will go out to one of those National League North, Northern Premier League clubs, get more regular first team football, whether that be go to Matlock Town permanently, go to FC United of Manchester permanently. Because I know he had a decent spell at United of Manchester. I think he was United of Manchester, I believe. I know he had a decent spell out on loan at one point, so he could go back to that club. There's a couple of other clubs that I'm sure would be interested. I'm sure Gainsborough Trinity would be a good club to go to as well. They're progressing even more. They've got Russ back for another season as manager, so that could be a wonderful opportunity for Jack. And I just feel like it'd not be worth it keeping him on a new contract next season. It's nothing against Jack personally. It's just I think it's better for his career if he gets more regular first team football, and I think he'll get that permanently somewhere else. I don't think he'll get that with Rovers. I don't think he's getting near the first time anywhere soon, because if we look at the brutal honesty of it, he's an attacking midfielder. Westbrook's in that position. Biggins right now is covering that position. We're probably going to get a new attacking midfielder in the summer anyway. I don't see him. I mean, apart from off the bench in the cup games, um, maybe start a couple of Bristol Street Motors Trophy games. I don't really see anything else apart from that. So for me, I just don't think he's going to get any regular first team football with Rovers in terms of major minutes. Again, we have to only look at the past 2 seasons on record with that. He received 2 games in League Two last season. One of them he started, one of them on the bench in terms of minutes overall. He's played 11 minutes overall for Rovers so far this season. Well, it looks like it's going to be for this season, because he's not going to come back until the end of the season and might not even come back after the summer. So I don't think, I think Grant likes Jack. I just don't think he's going to be one that we keep. I think if we have to be ruthless here, and I think that's what we have to be, we won't expect a massive turnaround of squad, but I think we are going to get rid of a few players out of contract this summer, and I think Jack might end up being one of them in my personal opinion. But again, it's not personal with Jack. It is literally just the fact that I want Jack to get regular first team football, and I just don't think he's going to get that ahead of the players that we've got already, the players that are going to stay, and the players that could be coming in to the club this summer. Speaking of players coming into the club this summer, I mean, first of all, best of luck to Jack on his loan at Matlock Town, and I hope wherever he goes next season, whether it's staying here, going somewhere else, I do hope that he gets that regular first team football. But speaking of players coming into the club, this is where we get onto a bit of juicy debating time, because I worked with a wonderful guy called Jack, who's a great analysis guy on social media, does wonderful analysis threads on Twitter, um, does wonderful scouting, and he's a bright young talent in the scouting department of football. He's got a bright future. Please, someone take a chance on him, along with many others out there. He's just got a bright future. And we worked together on this part of the show, and we talked about what the squad will need in the summer. Obviously, we know that Lotatello will go back from his loan. I hope we get him permanently. Craig goes back from his loan. I want to hope we get him on another loan, or try and get him permanently if we can pay the money, but I don't think Spurs will let him go. Adelaide, get that contract signed. If not, find an alternative that's just as good. Nixon will go back from his loan. I like Tom as a person. I think he's put in some good performances as well this season. Do I think we'll try and go back for him permanently? I don't know. It depends what Hull say. Depends what we're looking at in terms of positions wise. Is the right back position a priority? Obviously, Seaman's going to go. Sterry's going to stay for at least another year. Nixon goes back, so we've only got one recognised right back. So we might look at loaning in a right back to compete with Sterry, or bringing a young permanent option to back up Sterry and long-term take over, whether that be Nixon or someone else. So Nixon, we might keep tabs on. We may keep tabs on him. You never know. It depends on certain situations. But in terms of the Lawneys, Adelaken's the one I'd like the most to come back permanently. Lotatello, a very close second. Craig, I think, as a permanent is very unlikely. And Nixon, we should keep tabs on him just in case, for options and extra players, etc. So obviously they need replacing. And me and Jack looked into what the squad needed this summer. So we came to this conclusion, and we came to the conclusion of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 signings. And this isn't 6 signings all over the pitch. This is 6 signings in specific positions. So here's what we came up with. We came up with a ball-playing goalkeeper who's happy to join in the back three during build-up play, who's comfortable on the ball, a real sweeper keeper, comes out of his area, slices it wide, clears his lines, and comes forward very well. A modern type goalkeeper. We know that Lewis Jones and Ian Lawler are staying until 2025. We know they've got another year on their contracts. Lewis Jones, in my opinion, is massively underrated. I know a lot of people may hate that, but the reason why I think Lewis Jones has been let down during his spell sometimes by his defences is because, and I think part of that is due to the fact that Lewis Jones is a more traditional goalkeeper. I don't think Lewis Jones is a bad goalkeeper. I think he's at least a decent number 2 for this level, at least. But the thing with Lewis Jones for me is a traditional goalkeeper. if you're going to not invest in a goalkeeper and you're going to keep Lewis Jones and Ian Lawler, what you've got to do is develop them to become sweeper keepers. Develop Jones to come off his line, clear his area, do the Lototala duties. And again, Jones will learn from Lototala for the rest of this season. He'll know exactly what he needs to do to try and work his way back into the squad. Lawler, he's been under a couple of injuries this season. He's not had a run of form going. Um, has he had a great season? I think due to the amount of injuries he's had, we have to class it as a no. But Lawler, again, will have to look at that, use his experience, develop himself into a sweeper keeper, and again, develop them roles. But I think a goalkeeper is, in my opinion, one of the priorities this summer. I don't think we shouldn't not invest in a sweeper keeper, a modern day goalkeeper. I just think it has to be a priority 100%. So that's one position. The next one is a left-sided, preferably left-footed centre-back with a bit of pace, maybe between the ages of 18 and 23. Add some balance, add some pace. So you've got Wood and Anderson on one side, you've got the balance on the other side. Wood and Anderson's developed a fantastic relationship this season, and I hope that continues for as much as possible. However, you need that extra centre-back who's going to add pace, add balance to the side. You've got Olawu, you've got Faulkner if he stays beyond this season in a new contract. You know, you've got Will Flint as the future as well to develop and keep improving, etc. So you want to add that extra centre back in for that pace, for that balance, that progressiveness, a real ball playing defender to really balance out the partnership because they can have Wood and Anderson. You know, if you need to rest one of them, you can rest one of them and they can still have that balance towards it and still add some pace to that defence, which is the one thing I think. Don't get me wrong. I think Wood and Anderson have coped very, very well with their partnership in the second half of the season. But I think you need that pace because it adds balance to the side, and it also, you know, when you give one of them a rest, you've got that extra pace then to track back if need be and cover blank spots. So that's my arguments for that. Then you need a deep line midfielder, a proper playmaker to build up and help build up plays from the back, doing the Matthew Craig duties, that kind of thing. You need a left winger who will come out, come short, isolate their man one on one, have a bit of flair with him. And I've got one particular name in mind for that. You guys know who it is already. An attacking midfielder, an out and out attacking midfielder, someone who can go in and press out of possession in the opposition's half. Someone who can do the proper number 10 duties. We know Westbrook can step into that role. We know Tommy Rowe can do that role in the past, as well as come deeper. We know that there's an opportunity to invest in the younger talent as well from the academy and really bring them up. We know Frank Sinclair's doing a fantastic job with the academy in terms of developing them into proper stars. So there's an opportunity there to bring in an out and out number 10 to really do that role. And then finally, I've written down a pressing forward because we know Miller's going to be out until at least January. Well, apparently during the evening with Cliff and Grant on Tuesday night, it was said that apparently he is back on the grass despite being about 8 months away. So it might be sooner than we think. But just in case, I would look at another pressing forward again with Goodman probably likely going to go out on loan again in the summer or at some point during next season. You know, and when I say a pressing forward, I don't just mean an out and out forward. I also mean someone that can play in a 10 role and be adaptable because you keep the 4-2-3-1 formation and you can only go to a front two of the number 10 role pressers. So it has to be someone with a complete game, a good range of passing, has the work ethic to press when he needs to, and someone who can develop that role full time and really do that well. So you've got six positions there. You've got your goalkeeper, your left centre back, your defensive midfielder, your left winger, your attacking midfielder, and your striker. But very specific in terms of the types of players we're looking for here. So I've gone out of my way, and also I spoke to Jack. He's given me a few names as well. I'm going to sort of talk about some early names that I think we should be keeping our eyes on. So first of all, for our ball-playing goalkeeper, I've got two names in mind. The first one is Timothy Lototala from Hull City, of course, out of contract in 2025. He's got a year left at the end of the season. But if you can get the minimal fee out, get the money out, and pay the fee to Hull City, if Hull City do not see a future pathway for him, get that deal done. 2.5, maybe even 3 years if you can. And I know we're not made of money, but if you can do a 3-year deal, I would highly recommend it. And yeah, get Timothy Lototala on a permanent deal because he's just been a revelation since he's come to the club. Fantastic shot stopper, highly regarded, lots of potential, commands his box well, comes off his line very well as well, distributes the ball brilliantly. He's a very passionate player as well. He's a team player. He fits right into the group. Speaking to him off the pitch, he's a wonderful, wonderful lad, and someone who I would like on a permanent deal 100 million%. Now, the other option, and if you want to go into the loan market for this one, and I know we know in the past we've gone with our loan keepers, Sam Johnstone in the past, Sonny Dieng was another one, Ellery Balcom was another one. Then I think someone who's just come from a League Two club into a Championship club academy, or sort of the younger end of the Championship squad, and someone who I think needs regular game time and someone who I think is worth investing in is Nathan Broom of Swansea City. Wimbledon fans will recognise that name. He's out of contract to 2026, but this would be a loan deal. He's effective, consistent in terms of a shot stopper. He's calm on the ball, confident. He's a decision maker, very reactive for a young keeper. So, again, this would be a real senior loan that I think could do some good. I think that Nathan Broom could be a fantastic player. Any Swansea fans or Swansea fans who watch the academy, comment down below your thoughts on Nathan Broom. What do you think about him? I like him. I rate him highly, and I think that'd be a fantastic loan deal if we do decide to go down the loan market for keepers. Now then, less centre back wise, I've got two names on here. I've got a name that Jack suggested to me that I did a bit of research on. Elijah Campbell, currently on loan at Fleetwood, but of course is an Everton player. He's out of contract with a year left this summer. Before his injury, before he had an injury, he was good, according to Fleetwood fans. Plenty of room for improvement. He is a left-footed centre-back, so he would add that left-footed side to the back line. He's an aggressive defender, or quite aggressive. He has a bit of pace about him. He's comfortable on the ball. He can adapt as a left-back if we need to fill square pegs with round holes, depending on the injury situation during next season as well. So he's a good player from what Fleetwood fans have been saying, and from what Everton fans have been saying as well. So for me, Elijah Campbell would definitely be a worthwhile loan. Obviously, he's at the bottom end of League One. Fleetwood not having a fantastic season this season. However, Fleetwood fans have been rating this guy, so I think this would be a real quality loan deal if we can do this deal. Now, the second player I've got, and to be fair, if any of you have seen my Twitter, you know how much I rate this young man. And I know there was doubts over, oh, it's another 18-year-old. Is this going to be another one of those stories? I don't think so. And that is Dan Ellison of Chippenham Town. Now, we know we've heard stories of Reading interested, a couple of other League One clubs interested, a previous trial, I think, at Sheffield Wednesday in the past. So, there's a lot of League One interest in him, but if we can do the deal, apparently 10k is the reported price. I mean, if we can do this deal, it would be an absolute steal. He's a very high potential progressive centre back with a towering presence. He's a real threat from set pieces with his height as well. He's comfortable at bringing the ball out of the defence. He picks his pass into the front players. He has a diverse range of passing ability about his play. He plays on the front foot. He builds a picture of the game in his head and has a real senior intelligence for an 18-year-old as well. And the way you develop him is very different to other players. You develop him by bringing him into cup games and also giving him league starts every now and then. He's a real proper prospect that I think we should be developing to be first team ready within his second or third season of being here. And I think that if you progress him that little bit more and give him that little extra that bit extra game time season on season, he'll be a first teamer in no time. And I've got complete and utter confidence that Dan Ellison will take over long term in that centre back role on the left hand side. For me, I think Dan Ellison is one of the future stars. And I think if you don't cash in on this opportunity, especially at something like £10,000, £15,000, even if you put in a £30,000 price tag down, and we can afford it, I've got no doubt we can afford £30,000 for a player. Definitely 100%, especially for a high potential 18-year-old down in the non-league system, which again fits with what we've done previously last summer, which is bringing in lower league players. I believe he's worth every single penny, long term and short term, and I think we can develop him amazingly, especially under Grant McCann. Look at the centre backs that Grant McCann could potentially have for the future. If you bring in this guy, you've got Ellison, you've got Faulkner potentially, you've got Will Flint. See, the future is bright in that department if you bring in Ellison to really round it off. Now then, we've got two options here for the deep lying midfield role. The first one is a loan option, and it's for a former Rochdale man, Ethan Brearley. He's a real demander of the ball. He stamps his authority on the game. He's a real ground jewel winner. The stats at Rochdale proved it. He's a true chance creator in the making. It would be a very smart loan deal, in my opinion. I think he needs that senior loan into League Two. You know, he's come from the National League with Rochdale, has done superbly with Rochdale. Rochdale have produced some fantastic young players, and I think this is an opportunity too good not to miss. For me, I think that Brearley would be an immense loan deal, and I think that he would just fill in the roles that Matthew Craig can do. I could have very easily had a Matthew Craig this list for another loan deal, but I just don't think we're going to get that done. I think Tottenham will have taken this season on board and just said, taken the period of time from January until the end of this season on board and said, yeah, we're not going to loan him out to League Two next season. It'll be League One next season. Mind you, if we can get him back for another loan, or even if Tottenham let him go at some point, then that'd be even better. But I just don't think it's going to happen. So I went for two different players this time. But Brearley, definitely the next, in my opinion, in terms of loan options to take over that duty. In terms of permanent, here's a name that may ring bells for Rovers fans, but someone who I think could be a very shrewd addition, and that is Charlie Lakin. Sutton fans will love this one. Out of contract this summer, would be a free transfer to come back. He's a deep chance creator, 4 assists in his past 2 games, always willing to receive the ball in deep areas, and he works in the midfield too, like Craig does currently with Owen Bailey. Shout out to Jack for that suggestion that he sent my way. He was the one that suggested Elijah Campbell, and he also suggested Charlie Lakin. So those are the two names that he brought to my attention for potential signings, and he also gave the go ahead on another signing later down the line in this video. But Charlie Lakin, I know a lot of Rovers fans will be ringing that name and say, Charlie Lakin, are you sure you want to take him back, Chal? Absolutely. He was one of, I'd say, 2, maybe 3 rough diamonds in a very poor season last season. He, along with Ben Nelson being another one, I mean, those two were just they were gems. They were gems in a patchy coal season, if that's the best way to put it in mining terms. But for me, I think Lakin has done really well this season. He's got the form, even in a relegation threatened squad. I think he's got the form. I think that under McCann he can develop even more and develop better. I don't think Burton's got a plan for him, unless I'm mistaken. Unless Burton have suddenly turned around and said, yeah, we'll give him a chance next season and give him a new contract for it. For me, I think that Lakin's worth the chance to bring back. I think that you put him with a better group of players than he had last time he was here. I think he does even better than he already had done. So for me, I think Lakin would be worth looking at getting back. Some people might not be happy with that, but it's all about opinions. I respect you if you don't agree with that. I respect those who do agree with that. My opinion, I think it could be worth bringing Lakin back. I absolutely 100% agree with Jack on this one. I think Lakin would be a wonderful player to bring back. Then you go into the left wing position. There's only one name I've got on this list. Hakeeb Adelakin. Target acquired. Sign the paper on the dotted line. I'm doing a Rio 30. He's a magician on and off the ball. Quick and twisted with his footwork. He's got high intelligence for this division. Picks his teammates out brilliantly. He loves playing at the club. He's out of contract in the summer. Lincoln, I don't think have got a plan for him. It's a move that works on all parties. Remember when I said earlier about that Jack Degruchy that, a player is right for one club. A player can be right for a club. A player and a club can be right for each other. Adelakin is right for Rovers and the way we play and the way we set up and the way we move in defence, in attack, in transition. He is perfect for everything we need to do. So for me, Adelakin is an absolute must. We've got to get this guy. We've got to look at a permanent deal for this guy. I know Grant loves him. He loves it to be here. It'd be great if he stayed in the region in the summer as well, which makes it even more likely for us to sign him or in that region to sign him. And I think that for me, he would be a wonderful acquisition on a permanent deal. If you can get him on a 2.5, 3 year deal, especially, that'd be just amazing, absolutely astonishing. Now, in the attacking midfield position, I need to do some more time before the end of the season to research permanent options. However, I did find a loan option that could be pretty good, and it's someone I had on my long list for January. Amari Kellerman from Aston Villa, an effortless mover with the ball, an amazing personality on the pitch, contrary to character profiles and reports. Really confident on and off the ball. He can manipulate the ball in tight pockets of space, and he can operate anywhere across that front line, the front three, the striker role in front. He's I can operate out wide as well. He's a young talent with exceptional potential. He's such a quick mover as well. He's effortless on the ball. He's just got this aura and this charisma about him on the pitch, and this amazing personality off the pitch to match. And for me, I think Amari would be a very underrated loan. Yes, the risk is there that this would be his first senior loan. However, Matthew Craig's first senior loan is with us and he's paid off brilliantly. On the other hand, it might not work for other players such as Thiago Chakir. It didn't work with him, but it definitely worked with Matthew Craig this season. So some that do, some that don't. It's worth the risk, in my opinion, for a player like Amari. And I think that it would 100% be worthwhile looking at this guy. Finally, then in the striker role, again, very specific. I have to do a lot more research. However, one player, and I think one very underrated player that I found, and Edgeronian fans might agree with me on this one. He's out of contract in 2024. He's born in York, could be a good move for the region. Gabby McGill at Edgeronians in the Scottish Championship. They're fighting for the playoffs at the moment. He's got the ability to drop into that 10 role up as well as up front. He can provide wonderful competition and depth to that role. He knows where the back of the net is. Highly rated by the Airdrie fans and the manager. He's done very well so far. He's got a nice couple of goals so far, and I think an assist as well. He speaks very well after games as well. He's very, very good at analysing the game afterwards in post matches. And for me, Gabby would be a real representative for this football club and a real representative on the pitch as well. I think looking at some of the highlights of McGill, he's got nice quick movement, gets in the right areas, knows where the back of the net is, very comfortable on and off the ball. For me, he links up well as well. I mean, I know Dronians under Reece McCabe are very much a possession-based side, but I think for me, McGill can sort of adapt very well into a McCann side where it's not really about keeping the ball for long periods of time. It's about, quickly distributing it from back to front and, you know, passing the ball. We're a really passing side and we're not really a possession side, but very much a passing side and making those constant passes, forward-thinking passes as well, getting it into the box, getting it into the right areas, getting it on the edge, trying efforts, etc., trying the cross in the box. And with McGill's ability to get in the right place at the right time, I think it's worth it looking at this guy, especially with his ability to drop into that 10 role. I think he adds brilliant depth. If you have a striker squad planner of Ironside, Miller when he comes back, and McGill, you've got three strikers there that can absolutely do numerous roles and numerous duties that can really help the squad going forward. So I think McGill would slot in perfectly. And Adronian fans, comment down below what you think of McGill because I think it'd be worth it. Every single every single penny off the wage bill for him, it'd be absolutely worth it. So there we go, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching this episode of the DRFC Daily Reports. Of course, best of luck to Jack Degruchy on loan at Matlock Town. Obviously, comment down below any thoughts about the names we've chosen. Make sure you comment down below your suggestions because we want to use your suggestions in this year's recruitment plan as well. So just to give you a quick reminder of what we're looking for, we're looking for a goalkeeper, a ball-playing goalkeeper who's happy to join in the build-up with the back three or in a back three with the centre-backs. We've got a left-footed, maybe 18 to 23-year-old centre-back, which adds pace and gives balance to alongside Wood or Anderson. A deep line midfielder that does the Matthew Craig role. A left winger who comes short, isolate their man one-on-one with a bit of flair to him. An attacking midfielder that can sometimes go and press out of possession in the opposition's half. And there's pressing forward that can play as a number 10 in the 4-2-3-1, only go to a front two if the number 10 role presses, a complete game, good range of passing, and a work ethic to press when needed. We may do a separate video recapping all of that, giving you guys a chance to watch it all back again so you get a good idea of, who's available, who you think could be good, who's out of contract, etc. But for now, guys, I am the CHALL, and that is full time. Ta for now.